TRP National Motocross Action is proudly brought to you by Out of Africa Group. Create, construct, growth. TINTSWALO Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors. Welcome to Terra Topia for the final round of the National Championship Motocross. This is where it's all going to come down to. We've literally only got one championship that's been wrapped up. Everything else comes down to Terra Topia and what's going to happen here in the 2 heats of racing on each of these categories. A massive amount of work has been put into the circuit, and we're going in the reverse direction as well, which means the track changes up completely. They've ticked all the boxes to make sure that everything that's required for a national championship motocross track is in order. And we're ready to go now to sort out the final rounds of the 2019 championship. Great to have TINTSWALO and Out of Africa and all our associate sponsors here as we kick things off with the 50cc category. Big battle expected for second place. The red plate holder Ethan Williamson literally just has to finish in the top 10 and he will wrap up the championship. Still a bit of pressure on him though, because things can go wrong. If he doesn't quite get there, is Chase Becker, Cruz Martin, Jake Pretorius, Jake Van Scoor, and watch out for Brodie Bircher, Christian Barrington Smith as they look to take on the 171 of Ethan Williamson. In the gates now and ready to go. Let's see who's going to get the whole shot as the 15-second board changes to 5. They head up towards turn number 1 into Bridgestone corner. And it's a great start coming out of the 36, Chase Becker. Big crash though. Oh wow, 2 riders going down. And it looks like the number 24 bike might have just been caught out there as well. Ivana Fenta having to take evasive action as she just missed out the big crash as they headed up towards turn 1. A couple of riders going down there. Luke Krull was one of them, and I think Skylar de Kock was the other. And a couple of riders that are now going to need some attention. Out front though, as I said, Becker got a great start and now leads things out. Right on his tail, you've got Cruz Martin, Jake Pretorius and Van Scoor. How far back are we seeing the 171 of Williamson? And keep an eye out on the 141. And that, of course, is Christian Barrington Smith. He'll be coming through as rapidly as possible. They'll all start to sort things out now in this second half of the top 10. 338, Jake Van Scoor starting to make his way through there along with Keaton Strauss. Then you've got Casey Tilley just behind them. It's Brodie Bircher, not getting the start he wanted. Good recovery there from Ivana. You can see the number 24 on the back of her shirt. She's back up and riding. There's Christian Barrington Smith, slowly but surely closing in onto the back end of the leader. Chase Becker's in trouble. And I can see Barrington Smith making some big maneuvers there to get to the front end man. He's chasing hard and he's being followed very closely by Pretorius and Van Scoor. The 2 Jakes pushing it to the limit. 555 coming up there, of course, Maxwell Faree in the battle for the top 20. You can see a nice little run there with Riley Gravenstein and Trent Balsecki. But it is the big move that's coming here from Christian Barrington Smith we're going to concentrate on as he closes down on the back end there of Chase Becker. Cruz Martin, what a start from this young man. And the 42 just behind there, Aiden Retief, closing things down now for a possible top 5. Still no change up at the front, and the 36 of Becker hangs on. You can see Wayne Barrington Smith on the side, just telling Christian, take it easy, time it, don't go too soon. Otherwise, you could have a chance of them coming back at you. He's just sitting comfortable. You can see he's pretty comfortable there behind the pace that's being set by Chase Becker. Not going to go too hard just yet. Behind that, they start to line up, and the 51 bike of Jake Pretorius is trying to close down on Cruz Martin. Keenan Strauss just ahead of them there as well, and Van Scoor. Once again, Aiden Retief. He's just up ahead there, I think, of Brodie Bircher, and just behind Casey Tilley. So Casey Tilley also having a nice one. Wow, look at how hard they're pushing these little 50s. Absolutely nothing held back here by these youngsters. The big left-hander that takes them up to the start-finish line now. And there we go. Change up for the lead. Barrington Smith eventually just squeezes through and finds a way past. He's now going to try and open up a bit of a margin. Cruz Martin is doing exactly that for third. He hasn't got anybody in his wake. He's left them slightly there. And Aiden Retief and Tilley trying to fight now for top 5. Oh, and Retief just cross-ruts and gets out of shape and goes out the side. Fortie's back up and support on the sideline. I'll get him back on the bike rapidly. He's not going to lose a position, but he is going to lose some ground there. And it looks like Casey Tilley's going to get away from him now. And Retief was going so well at that stage. Big pity for that mistake. The rest of the pack having some fun. Ethan Williamson is up to 7th. Looks like he's just hanging on there for that top 10. Remember, he's got to just finish in the top 10, and it's literally the championship done. So he's not going to put any more pressure than what's required. And hopefully we'll be able to finish up with that number 1 plate after this one. 24 is Ivana Fenta. Fenta has recovered nicely, but they're not going to catch this man out front, Christian Barrington Smith. He's going to be taking the last blood of the season. He's going to be finishing up just ahead of Chase Becker in 2nd place. And Cruz Martin has closed down slightly, but not enough to affect the top 3 overall. How far back is the 5-1, Jake Pretorius and Jake Van Scoor. They've been in an epic little battle, the two of them. But it looks like, yes, Jake Pretorius has pulled a little margin now and got away from Jake Van Scoor. So some work to be done now, just in the closing stages. Get to the line, that's all they need to do. And look at this little pack in the middle of it. And you can see second place man coming through there into some of those back markers. Connor Monroe, Reinhard van Niekerk and Travis Liddell. And of course Ross McKenzie at the back there as well, having a great day in the saddle. There is your champion-elect. He's just waiting for that checkered flag to come out. And everybody on the sideline ready to go now with that #1 shirt. I'm sure they got one ready for him. Brodie Bircher just going through shot there. He'll be finishing up in 9th place, just inside the top 10. So Barrington Smith is going to take the win on the day. The championship is going to go down to the man who finishes a little bit further back. Becker gets second overall, that is, ahead of Jake Pretorius and Jake Van Scoor. It's Cruz Martin and Trent Valsecki and Brodie Bircher there in 7th. There's the podium, and Barrington Smith gives high fives to both of the riders on that podium. Your champion, though, it's Ethan Williamson. After a very consistent year, the young Cape Townian finishes at the top of the Nationals with Christian Barrington Smith in 2nd. We'll catch you after the break for more action from Terra Topia. Welcome back to Terra Topia. Rob Portman on the microphone, doing a great job as we go into the MX2s. Arguably the most competitive category all season long. And there's definitely going to be some fun and games. Not like that, but a little bit more rough and tumble out there now with the 250s. The championship is very much up for grabs. 3 riders in with a chance. Reinhard fighting with Fitzgerald and with Mlimi. Who's going to come out at the top after this heat of racing? And the next one a bit later on in the day. 15-second board changes to 5, and we're ready to go now to Bridgestone Corner. Eyes down, gates drop, and we're racing. Great start from Vogelsang out the gates, but it's Kieran Fitzgerald looking for another hole shot. And look at Brad Cox, back wheel all the way up the hill into Bridgestone Corner. Has he got the hole shot possibly? I think he might have. He was going in there so hot. Out the front end though, no, Mlimi's got the hole shot as they come through. He's hanging on, and Kieran Fitzgerald's round the outside. How far up is Reinhard? Keep an eye out for Reinhard there. Who is going to have what it takes here to beat out Anthony Reinhard? Are the 2 Red Bull KTMs going to give him a run for his money? That's exactly what we're expecting. Have a look at Brad Cox, though, and Cam McClellan in the mix there at the front end, pushing hard. Looks like McClellan might have been caught out at the bottom end. Yeah, let's have a look. Yes, it is. Oh, McClellan getting together there with Jesse Wright. Jesse Wright going down right in front of Cam. He had nowhere to go. Wright gets back up and eventually gets going on that Monster Energy out of Africa Yamaha, but he's now right at the back of the pack with a huge amount of work to do. Out front, hello, Mlimi is disappearing. And on his tail, it's his teammate. What a start there from 914 Keegan Hickson Mahoney. That is probably the best start we've seen out of him all season long. It's not a great start from McClellan, and he's also been caught up by a couple of riders, as we've just seen, and it's not a good start coming out of Reinhard. Reinhard has got a huge amount of work to do now if he wants this championship. He's got to make up the 7 points that he came in behind Kieran Fitzgerald, and he's got to make up ground to where Kieran Fitzgerald is. He's in 2nd behind his teammate. And Reinhard looks like he's only down in about 4th or 5th at this point. Good start from Mark Carty as well. That's a much better start from him. Ricky Raft in there as well, looking very good. Trying to push as hard as he can to stay out front. But the man out front is disappearing. And Mlimi controlling things right on his tail. Well, a little bit closer than what he was earlier on. That is his teammate. And then tucked in behind there, it's Cox and Slade Smith. Slade Smith on the CRT Husqvarna. Trying to close things down, maybe looking for a top 3 finisher. Red Bull KTM's 1 and 2 at this point as they come flying up and out of the 100% turn. Oh, man. Hickson Mahoney is on fire here. I don't know what he's found over the last couple of weeks, but it's definitely paying off for him. He's got to keep an eye out there on Slade Smith, who's rapidly closing him down up into the top end of the asterisk turn. And now, just behind that, that's Reinhard. So Reinhard running there, I think, with his MX of Nations shirt by the looks of things there. Slightly different number on the back of his shirt, but 23 on his bike. That means it's Reinhard. And he's got to catch up, and we got to see possibly Kieran Fitzgerald get through on his teammate, because his teammate, Josh Mlimi, has still got a chance of the championship as well. What a battle we're in here for today in the 250cc category. Kieran Fitzgerald closing down now on the back end of Mlimi. Can he get past him? We'll wait and see. Mlimi seems to be setting phenomenal pace out the front end. And the only man who can match him is his teammate there, Kieran Fitzgerald, as they head down the hill. Reinhard closing in on the back. Oh, Slade Smith with a big one. Smith with a big one coming out of that. And it looks like he just lost the front end there on those whoops. You can see how rough it is. Hickson Mahoney goes around him. There goes Ricky Raft. 122 recovery there from Cam McClellan. McClellan now up into the top 6. But that was a massive one there for Slade Smith. I hope he's not injured. He should be okay if he didn't get any broken bones or anything there. But it looks like he got up okay. Just a bit shaken. Don't think he expected to go down at that point. But you can see just how rough this track is getting now. It's not affecting Cam McClellan though. He's starting to put in the hot laps. can see Slade Smith has got back up and he's riding, but he's going to be feeling a little bit ginger, I can tell you for that. It's a big crash to have at that point in the circuit. Out of FMF now. And the two TRP Red Bull KTMs getting away from this field and controlling things very decently from the front. There's no answer from Reynard whatsoever. He's up to third, but he hasn't got the pace to run with the guys at the front end. Slade Smith has recovered nicely. He's now got back into the mix there once again with Cox. Two of them, that's a big recovery there from Smith. Yeah, I'd get out the way as well, Marshall. They can run wide a little bit there for you too. They head up towards Asterix again. This man is absolutely hauling though. And the flag comes out and he takes the win as Josh Mlimi hangs on. Look at the battle though, coming down for fourth place, and Smith runs off. Cox is going to get the fourth place due to a mistake there from Slade Smith as he's pushing way too hard. Cam McLellan comes through as well, just behind that for a top 5. And he actually got to the line just ahead of Slade Smith. Can you believe that? Mlimi from Fitzgerald, Reynard and Cox. McLellan beats out Slade Smith after that mistake, and Jesse Wright recovers nicely to 7th place. There's your podium for race 1. Great ride there from Mlimi. And it looks like Kieran Fitzgerald's got that one hand on the trophy. Let's go straight into the 85cc's now and our Pro Mini category. Man on the left-hand side of the shot there, Deegan Bloomfield looking for a championship. He can possibly take the 85cc juniors. It depends on what happens there with Emmanuel Bucko and with Seth Young, his closest rival. In the 85cc pros though, it's a big battle expected between Leonard DeToy, Blake Young and Kirk. And they go down into Bridgestone Corner and it's just chaos. Pandemonium, one of the biggest fields we've had out here today. 28 bikes going to battle. Some of them on the bigger wheels, some of them on the smaller wheels. And speaking of smaller wheels, it's a smaller wheel 85cc junior that got the whole shot. It's Emmanuel Bucko who leads out. Oh, he got cross-righted there slightly. He's lost a little bit of ground. He made a big mistake. And now as they come up to the top of the hill, it's Grundy out front. Wow, what a move there from Luke Grundy. There's Kirk. How far back is DeToy? 48 is McLellan. He didn't quite get the start he wanted. Lots of work to do there for Nate McLellan this time as opposed to Cam. And around the outside, watch out for the 5.5 bike of Dylan Kirk as he starts to come into the mix at the front end, closing in on Grundy. 57 in the house is James Thompson. Nice to see him up in the mix there with the 85cc juniors. Hasn't had quite the big season that we expected from him, but he's got some work to do now, possibly to finish up still in the top 5 overall in the championship. DeToy starting to tick them off one by one. He didn't get a great start, but we know that even with a bad start, Leonard DeToy still has the ability to get to the front pretty rapidly. He's got to find a way past on the 5.5 Dylan Kirk. He's also got to try and find a way through there on Wes McGavin, and look out for, of course, the massive move from Blake Young. Blake Young is definitely looking for a chance here to spoil the day for DeToy. That's the championship battle in the Pro Minis. And they're still fighting hard. And they're going to fight hard for 2 heats here today as well. Right now, it's all about Dylan Kirk. He leads things out. DeToy closing down rapidly. They've got through on Grundy. He's moved down to 3rd. 4th place is Young. He starts to move up now. Both the Swaziland riders pushing hard to possibly take the South African title. Deegan Bloomfield, he's sitting comfortably in 2nd place, but he needs actually to be up in 1st. He's got to beat Seth Young today if he wants the 85cc Junior Championship. Oh, big moment there for DeToy. Oh, Leonard DeToy with a big moment there. Foot off and almost sort of knacking before he even hit the jump. Fortunately, he hung on and didn't get off the bike, so he can carry on going. Didn't slow him down, though, did it? Look at him, he's all over the back of the 5.5, and Dylan Kirk is going to have a huge amount of work to do now to keep off and fend off the attack that's coming from Leonard DeToy. DeToy wants this championship. Bucko, unfortunately with some injuries through the year, has just not been able to run and take the #1 plate in the 85cc juniors. Oh, there's a rider down. That's, big pity there for Luke Grundy. He's gone down. It's dropped him out of the top 3. It's given the top 3 position to Blake Young. He's moved up to 3rd place now. 1st place change up as well. DeToy hits the front. Kirk in 2nd. How far back is the #2? That is Emmanuel Bucko once again leading things out in the 85cc juniors. Not going to be caught yet today. We saw that with his ability to hold shot and recover nicely. Hayden Tully with Fenter and right on his tail. Looks like there's a good ride there coming out of the 28 there. Garrick Henley. Through the pack they come. 57 of Ayers looking good too. Looking for a top 4 finish there for James Thompson. So the battle for 85cc juniors starting to heat up as well as at the frontier of the Pro Minis. And doing it all right here is Leonard DeToy. Victories are going to ensure that he takes the #1 plate for 2019. What's happening between Seth Young and Deegan Bloomfield? Change up for 2nd. Hello, all of a sudden we got Blake Young up there. So Blake Young has got into 2nd place, but I don't think it's enough. And just behind him comes the leader of the 85cc juniors. That is Emmanuel Bucko. He hangs on for now. Behind him, he's looking for Seth Young. Seth Young's not too far back. Deegan Bloomfield has to beat Seth Young today. There's the 9.4 on the Ridgeway Race Bar bike just ahead there of Tyler. And Tyler Tarantino, he's just battling a little bit out there today, but it is very, very tricky conditions for the slightly smaller wheel bikes. You can see just hanging on for dear life, but it is a great run in the end from Leonard du Toit, who comes through to take the victory, hang on to the red plate, and also take the championship for 2019. Du Toit wins out overall ahead of Blake Young and Dylan Kirk, with Nate McKillen in 4th. Seth Young wins out overall as well in the 85cc juniors, beating James Thompson and Topia, with problems for Deegan Bloomfield in the second heat with his bike. The 2019 Pro Mini champion is Leonard du Toit.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. I'm happy to say I'm riding for Raceworks KTM and everybody supporting me. Jesse, my trainer, for helping me. And yeah, the year was long and hard.
2019 85cc junior champion goes to Seth Young from Swaziland. Welcome back to Terra, Topia, and more action expected now on this incredible circuit. As we line things up, it's going to be big battles in the MX3s and the ladies category. The battle for the ladies category is now literally for second place, but in MX3s, there are 4 riders that could potentially take the overall championship. One of them is Topless, one of them is Bircher, and watch out for Craig Kruger and Tyson Engelbrecht. Kayla Roth literally just has to finish up today, and she'll take the ladies championship. But she's also expecting to try and take a couple more victories and not allow Regani or Jonker any more time at the top of the podium. Great start down into turn 1, Bridgestone corner from the 12 bike, and it's Tyson Engelbrecht, I think, who's hit the front. He gets the whole shot with Bircher right on his tail, and in fact, coming through there, what a start from Topless. Oh, and Topless goes down! Topless goes down right in front of the 121 of Hubbard. And that's a big, big maneuver, and you cannot afford to have that. How's that 777 out front there for Cal, getting a little bit of extra time in the saddle and using this for practice for the big race later on. And of course, a little bit of training for Lloyd Verkel as well. He looks like he might be stepping into 2 categories. He's a man at the front, and of course, he's on a mission to try and wrap things up here today. But he's not really going to be involved in this championship. He'll probably pull out of the race right in the closing stages, not to get involved in the actual championship that's happening here today, because that's what Bircher's fighting for, and you can see he's done it all right for now. He's ahead of Topless, who's gone down, but he won't know that. There goes the number 1 bike of Kayla Roth. A little bit of a gap there down into second place for Natasha Regani. High-flying Lloyd Verkel, basically the class of the field here, and getting away from the usual contenders that we've seen all season long. Tyson Engelbrecht is the leader of those usual contenders at this point. Right on his tail, you can see it's a bit of a change up there as Craig Kruger and Bircher have swapped things out, running in numerical order, and Roth getting through there and going along with Kruger for the ride. So just using Craig Kruger to block her way all the way through this big pack. As I said, Verkel not really involved here. He's just out there for a bit of extra practice. Let's see if he can keep it all together though at the front end. I don't think he's going to be taking the checkered flag at the front. As I said, he'll probably roll out and give these guys a chance. Good to see a recovery there from Topless. He's just ahead of Roth. Roth leading the ladies, and leading the ladies by a very, very big margin. Further back, big battles in those ladies categories though. Megan Jonker and Jadine De Lima starting to come together. And a nice run once again there from Tegan Reid, looking for another top 5. She got a top 3 in Velcom, if you remember. Topless going through on the 5-6, getting past Calvin Gloucester. So he's ticking them off one by one, and slowly but surely making his way to the front end. He has to try and get as high up on the podium today as possible to wrap up MX3s. Also has to try and ensure that no one else, there you go. I thought that might be happening. Lloyd Verkel just tapping off slightly and rolling out, and that will allow Tyson Engelbrecht to hit the front. Can you believe where Topless has got to? He's moved up into second place at this point after that big crash, and he's right on the tail now of the 12 bike of Engelbrecht. So you can see Ian Topless on that out of Africa Monster Energy Yamaha is feeling it big time, and he's not letting anybody take this title away from him. He's going for another SA title, and Ian Topless certainly feels like he's got what it takes here. He's probably fired up. He's kind of probably got a bit of Michael Koch in him right now. Cocky always being famous for going down as they come to the checkered flag. Look at this. The two of them absolutely flat down the back straight. Coming into the big left-hander up the hill. Oh, Topless around the outside, flat to the limit, and wins there by just the front wheel. What a race from Topless. And there you see Kayla Roth. She comes through a little bit more sedately to take the ladies category. Topless wins out ahead of Engelbrecht and Bircher in the overalls, beating out Craig Kruger as well. And Kayla Roth beating Regani, Megan Jonker, and Tegan Reid into the top 4 overall. Let's catch up with Ian Topless.
Tyson went inside, actually using one of my lines. I went sort of middle, just sort of looking for something, found some loam and pulled right past him, but it was a close finish. I think it was 0.6 tenth of a second or something. So it was an awesome finish.
And now the championship as well.
And now the championship, well, yeah, it's been also a long year. Missed the first national, so it's been catch up the whole year. And I just want to say thanks to Other Africa Developments, Yamaha, Monster, and all my boxwork buddies who come to support me, and Jono and my family, and everyone's been a long year, good year. 10th championship.
13 out of 14 victories sees Kayla Roth at the top of the Ladies' Championship.
Yeah, I had some ups and downs in the mid here, so it put me down, but then I realized I love the sport and I'm doing it for a reason, so I just kept on going until I did it, and once again I did it. I'm so proud of myself, my friends, my family, everyone.
There's some future champions looking at the podium, trying to get up into the top step, and looking forward to more action now. It's going to be good stuff in the MX2's heat number 2. The gate is stacked and we're ready to rock down into Bridgestone corner. Wait for that 15-second board to change to 5. Bridgestone is waiting to see who can get the whole shot. The gate's dropped and it is a phenomenal start once again from the 250s. They head up towards Bridgestone corner around the outside. Good line there coming from Reynard. Cam McClellan looking for a chance to possibly get through well and stay out of trouble. And who has got through there? Is that Mlimi out front again? Looks like it might be. He's pushing hard and Kieran Fitzgerald's right on his tail. Reynard around the outside, looking for a chance as they went through that FMF berm. Reynard is right there with Mlimi, but look at Slade Smith as well. Another spectacular start coming out of the Husqvarna, and Hickson Mahoney in there as well. Wow, who expected Hickson Mahoney to be going this quickly in the final round? Not me, but well done. That is great stuff from Geeks. He's now starting to put things together there on this 250. Some aerial material of these guys and some big air time down the bottom end of the river section as they head up towards Twin Air. It's basically 4 or 5 bikes, not Twin Airs, that are in the air at this stage. They're too close together at this point. Kieran Fitzgerald hanging on for the front end. Has he got what it takes there? Remember, he's only got to finish up in the top 5, and the championship is his. And he's got to make sure that he's not too far behind if Reynard gets in front. That's the chess game that's about to happen out here on track. It's going to be a good one. There is no doubt about it. Slade Smith slowly but surely starting to make his way to the front end. Watch out for him to have a slight change up in terms of his body language. Remember, he made 2 vital mistakes. 1 crash and 1 very late off-track excursion. And it's not what he expected. The top 3 in the championship, though, are the top 3 on track at this point. And there doesn't seem to be an answer from Reynard just yet on those 2 Red Bull KTMs. So the TINTSWALO Yamaha man pushing hard, trying to get away. Can he do anything and maybe just spoil the day for Kieran Fitzgerald? Fitzgerald has got the advantage. Cam McClellan looking good as well, and so is Smith. Here comes Slade Smith now. Look at how he's pushing. Giving it 100% up into the 100% zone. Not 100% yet from Mlimi. He had a little bit of issues earlier on. Small little incident saw him go down, but he's back up and riding. Reynard now sitting in second place. Kieran Fitzgerald in the lead. Can he keep it all together at the front end here and maybe control things from the front? Hickson Mahoney has dropped back ever so slightly, so lost a little bit of ground. I think he made a mistake somewhere on track as well. He's now into the clutches there of Mark Carty. So 1 and 2 over the OGO jump there. Kieran Fitzgerald, Reynard. Here comes Smith in third place, closing down. So is Cam McClellan. Oh, Cam McClellan having a big turnaround here in the second heat. Kieran Fitzgerald dictating from the front end. Still leads out over Reynard. Smith is the man to watch out for, though. Slade Smith on that CRT Husqvarna, rapidly closing down. Nice fight in the mid-pack there with Cox. Closing once again on Ricky Roth and Fokkelslang in that pack too. But the fastest man on track at this point in time is Slade Smith. And he's fired up here. I think he wants this win. He wants the final victory of the season. Here comes a bit of a change up. Looks like Ricky Roth closing in there. Jesse Wright up there as well. Nice maneuvering happening here. Reynard's through. Reynard's got to the front end. Into FMF and it looks... Oh, Kieran Fitzgerald losing out to Smith as well. Big mistake there from Kieran Fitzgerald. He looks across. I think he's looking to see who else is involved here. Another rider's gone down. It's his teammate. Mlimi's gone down again. This is a second crash there from Josh Mlimi. I think that's why Kieran was looking across. I think he saw the yellow flags and he just wanted to make sure that it's none of the championship contenders. Richie van der Veste is in first man there to help out Mlimi get back up on the bike. And it's now Slade Smith closing in on Reynard. Kieran Fitzgerald's in third place. Fitzgerald has to stay third or fourth if he wants to stay in contention for the championship. 217, what is going on there? Well, Max Jordan has lost the front end of that bike and the fender. So he's had a big one over the front and out the front door. How is this battle though? Wow, top class action in the final heat of 250s for 2019. And Smith hits the front. Reynard into second. Now Reynard cannot finish second. He must win. So this is going to be a battle right to the line here between Reynard and Smith. Slade Smith, well, he's not really involved in the championship, but you can see, think, come on, do what you need to do. Wayne Smith is going to be happy with this, but Reynard's right on his tail. The checkered flag is out. And Slade Smith finally takes a victory in 2019. Nice ride from Cam McLennan for third place. Kieran Fitzgerald comes through for fourth. That's good enough for the #1 plate for next year. Great ride from Kieran Fitzgerald. Overall win in the second heat goes to Slade Smith over Reynard. It's Cam McLennan beating Fitzgerald. Then you had Jesse Wright, Ricky Raff, Brad Cox and Mark Carty in the top 8.
Yeah, I'm super happy with that. First of the year and last national, unfortunately lost moto. But yeah, couldn't have done it without my mom, my dad, Team CIT and all the associate sponsors. And yeah, it's definitely the first, but not the last.
We're certainly looking forward to that for sure, Slade. But congratulations to Kieran Fitzgerald, your 2019 250 champion.
Yeah, I'm happy. It's been a long year. Everyone's doing great. I'm lucky for the team I have got behind me. And yeah, we brought home the championship.